Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome to Sew with Mediva. On this channel, I'll teach you how to make beautiful outfits using the most simplified method. And if you're a returning subscriber or a returning viewer, thank you for sticking to my channel. So in today's video, I'll teach you how to make this simple circle dress with side pockets and a choker neckline. So this is what the back of the dress looks like, and I achieved this style using 2.5 yards of Ankara fabric. This video is very detailed and very beginners friendly, so make sure you watch till the end so that you won't miss any detail. So don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. So this is the fabric we'll be working with. So for my own dress, I made use of 2.5 yards of Ankara fabric. So the next thing we are going to do is to fold our fabric. So I made use of 2 yards for the flare part of my dress. So this is 2 yards of fabric. So I'll go ahead to fold it into two. So each side I have 1 yard. So let me take it over to a wider space so that you guys can see how to properly fold your fabric to cut out a flare dress. So it's in a fold of two now, as you can see. So one side has 1 yard and the other side has 1 yard. So after folding your fabric into two equal parts, go ahead to take the closed angle and cross it over to meet the open angle of your fabric this way. So if you're working with 3 yards of fabric, you're going to have wider flare than I have here. But this is just 2 yards of fabric because I don't want my flare to be too big. So the lower part is going to be for the wider part of my dress, while the smaller area is going to be for the upper part of my dress. So right now we have our fabric in a fold of 4, as you can see. So after you have folded your fabric, come over to the closed angle, the completely closed side of your fabric. So that's the part where we'll be placing the neckline measurement, while the other side is going to be for your armhole measurement. So go ahead to draw out a straight line on your fabric, making sure that you are covering all the 4 folds, as you can see me doing. So this first line is going to be your shoulder line. Then from that shoulder line, come down by your round armhole measurements divided by 2. For me, I have 9 inches. So place your measurements there. I have 9 inches, and then I'll go ahead to mark the 9 inches and draw out a straight line. So after drawing out the lines, this is what it looks like. So the next thing you're going to do is to go over to the closed angle of your fabric to place your shoulder to shoulder measurements divided by 2. So for me, I have 8 inches. So I'll mark 8 inches here. And then I'll connect the line down to meet my armhole line, my chest line, all the way down this way. So connect it this way. So after doing that, the next thing for you to do is to place your neckline measurement. So I'm working with 3.5 inches for this dress for the wideness of the neckline. And then for the depth of the back panel neckline, I used 1.5 inches for mine. And the depth of the front neckline is 3.5 inches. Although we are still going to adjust the neckline of the front panel. So I'll go ahead to curve it out this way. Go ahead to curve it out this way to form your neckline. So the upper one is the back panel neckline and the lower one is for the front panel. So on the chest line, place your round bust measurements divided by 4. So for me, I have 10.5 inches. And then go over to this line to take your shoulder slope, which is 1 inch from the shoulder line, and slant it to meet the width of your neckline this way. The next thing to do is to form the armhole curve. So I'll go ahead to curve it out this way. Go ahead to curve it out this way to form your armhole curve down to meet your bust measurement. So I'll add 1 inch there for my sewing allowance, and then I would blend it into my dress this way. So the next thing you want to do is to mark out the full length of your dress. So place your tape rule on the shoulder line and then go ahead to mark the full length. So for me, I made use of 38 inches, but I'll mark 40 inches now because of folding at the base. So place your tape rule at the shoulder line and then take your length or the length of your dress all the way around it. So just as you can see me doing in the video. So make sure your tape rules at the shoulder line while you take the full length of your dress. So let's go ahead now to cut it out. So I'll start cutting from the lower part of the dress. So just keep cutting this way. And then I'll take the armhole area. I'll cut out the shoulder slope and cut out the necklines. So after cutting out, go ahead to open up the fabric. So you should have something that looks like this. So this is what we have after opening up. So I'll go ahead to cut out the front neckline. So for the front neckline, you can just directly cut out your V-shaped neckline instead of going through this process. So I've cut it out, and then since we're not going to be having any zipper at the back, I'm going to go ahead to open up the back neckline. I'll open it up since there won't be any zipper at the back. I'll fold it into two equal parts this way, and then I'll come down by 5 inches from the neckline, and then I'll just cut it open. So I'm going to finish up that point. So it's going to look like a keyhole at the back of the dress. So I'm going to put a button when I'm done. So this is what we have after doing that. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut out facing for this part of the neckline, and then I'll finish it up, but I won't be finishing up the upper part of the neckline. So for the neckline of the front panel, I'll fold it into two this way, and then I'll come down by 8 inches from the shoulder line. So the front neckline is a V-shaped neckline. So I'll come down. If you want just lower, you can make use of 9 inches. So after doing that, I'm going to just take my chalk and just form a slant line this way. I'll curve it out at the edge this way, and then I'll go ahead to cut it out. So go ahead to cut it out. By the time you open up, you should have something that looks like this. The next thing you want to do is to finish up the neckline of the front panel. So remember, we're going to have a choker at the neckline opening. So I'm going to show you guys how to take the measurements for that. So finish up the neckline. I'll go ahead to cut out facing for the front neckline and also finish up the back neckline. So I've cut out the facing. I'll use to turn over the neckline, and this is what it looks like. So I basically just placed the neckline on another fabric and I traced out the same shape, and then I cut it out this way. So I'm going to place it on it this way, right sides facing each other. So place your facing on the neckline, right sides facing each other this way, and then use 1/2 inch to stitch it all the way around it. Stitch it all the way down. So when you are done, go ahead to notch the seam, and then I'll flip it over to the other side and use my hemming gum to just seal it off there. So use your hemming gum to seal it off on the other side. And then for the back neckline, I'm only going to finish up this opening I have, because we'll be attaching the choker to the remaining part of the neckline. So let me do that. So after you've turned over with your facing, you should have something that looks like this. This is the back panel. I stitched it down after turning over. This is what the wrong side looks like. And then for the front panel, I'm going to use my hemming gum to finish up the neckline. I'll just iron it there, and it's going to gum the fabric down. So the next thing to do now is to insert your pocket. So go ahead to place your front and back panel this way, right sides facing each other. So place them this way, and then from this armhole point, come down by 9 inches or 8 inches, depending on the height of the person you're working with. But for this dress, I made use of 9 inches. So I'll go ahead to notch the points on the two fabrics, and then do the same thing for the other side of the dress. Come down by 9 inches or 8 inches and notch it. So these are my pockets I've cut out already. So place your hand on your fabric and cut out a comfortable size of fabric for your pocket. So I'll place the right side of this pocket facing the right side of my fabric. So place yours this way, and then go ahead to stitch it down using 1 inch seam allowance. So you're going to attach this pocket to all the sides of your dress this way. And then when I'm done doing that, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So after sewing down the fabric to the dress, this is what you should have. So go ahead to top stitch on the right side of your fabric so that your pocket will stay firm when you wear it inside your dress. So when we are stitching down, we're going to just close up the pockets this way on the wrong side. So the next thing we want to do is to close up the shoulder area. So go ahead and place your fabric this way, right side facing each other this way, and then go ahead to stitch down the shoulder. So remember, we did not finish up the neckline of the back panel, so we have an excess of 1/2 inch there, but do not worry about this because we are going to attach our choker to that point. So when we get to that part of this tutorial, you are going to understand. So go ahead to stitch the shoulders using 1/2 inch, and then when I'm done, I'll show you guys. So after joining the shoulders, this is what you should have. So you can see the 1/2 inch at the back panel that we're going to use to attach our choker. So before we close up the sides, I want us to cut out our sleeves first. so that we can join everything together. So let's go ahead to cut out the sleeve. So these are the fabrics I'll be using for my sleeves. I have them cut out already and it's in a fold of two, as you can see. So to get the amount of fabric to fold, divide your round armhole measurements by 2 and add about 1 or 2 inches to it for seam allowance, as you can see here. So mine is 9 and I added 2 inches, making 11. And then for the length of my sleeve, I'm making use of 8 inches, but I cut out 10 inches because of joining at the top and folding at the base. So go ahead to place the sleeves this way. You can try to fold your fabric into 4 for this. And then the first thing to do is to mark your cap's height. So for me, my cap's height is 4, which is my bust measurement divided by 12 plus half of an inch. So go ahead to divide yours and place it there. And then on the cap's height line, I'm going to mark my 9 inches, which is my round armhole measurement divided by 2 plus 1 inch. And then I'll connect it to meet the other edge of the fabric, the completely closed angle of your fabric. Draw a straight line this way. And then from this upper part, I'm just going to form a curve. I'll just curve it in at the top and curve it at the base, just forming like an S shape down to meet where I marked. So on the lower part of the sleeve, place your round arm measurement. So my round arm measurement is 16 inches divided by 2, 8 inches, and then I'll add 1 inch for seam allowance, making 9 inches. And then I'll go ahead to connect the 2 points together this way. So the next thing to do is to cut out your sleeve. So after cutting out, before you open up, notch the middle, the center point of your sleeve this way. So after opening up, you should have something that looks like this. So let's go ahead to attach it to our dress. So to attach the sleeve to the dress, open up your dress this way on the right side. So remember the point you notched on your sleeve. Go ahead to match it to the points that you joined your shoulders, right sides facing each other, just as you can see me doing in the video. So match it up this way and then use your pin to hold it down. And then go ahead now to fit the remaining part of the sleeve into your dress, into the armhole. So just use your pins to hold it down this way while you fit it in. So do the same thing for the other side. So after securing that with your pins, take it to your sewing machine and stitch it all the way down using half an inch. Join the sleeve to the armhole area using half an inch all the way down. So when you are done, you should have something that looks like this. So I'll repeat the same process for the other sleeve and then I'll show you guys what it looks like when I'm done. So after stitching down the sleeve, this is what it looks like. So you should have something that looks like this. So the next thing we want to do is to join the two sides together. So go ahead to close up your fabric, right sides facing each other, and then arrange all the points together. Bring out the pockets and arrange it this way. And then after arranging, I'll go ahead to stitch down using 1 inch all the way down. When I get to the pocket point, I'll close it up this way and then stitch it all the way down to the full length of the dress. So I'll repeat the same process for the other side. I'll close it up. And when I'm done, I'll finish up the lower part of the sleeve. I'll fold it in twice. I'll do the same thing for the base of my dress and then I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So after closing up the sides of your dress, this is what it looks like. This is what you should have as well. So the next thing we want to do is to cut out the fabric for the choker. So go ahead and measure the distance you have between the neckline of the front panel. So just take your taper and place it straight this way. So right now I have about 9 inches here, but because I don't want it to be too tight on the neckline, I'll add 1 inch to it, making 10 inches. So for the front panel, I'll be making use of 10 inches, and the back part, I have 4 inches on this side and 4 inches on this side. So altogether, I have about 18 inches. So I'll go ahead to cut out 18 inches long fabric. I'll iron my gum stay on it and fold in the edges. So when I'm done cutting the fabric, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So I've gone ahead to cut out the choker and this is what it looks like. And then for the length, I used 17 inches instead of 18 inches because I just have a feeling it's going to be too wide. So I used 17 inches, not 18 inches. And then the height of the fabric I cut out is 3 inches. I folded in half an inch on both sides. And then by the time I folded it into two, I have 1 inch for my choker height. So go ahead to fix in the choker this way at the edge of the neckline, starting from the back panel, and stitch it down. So fix your neckline into the choker, the open angle, and fix it down this way. Then go ahead to stitch it all the way down to the point where you joined your shoulder area. Stitch it down that way, and then come over to this other side of the back panel. Insert your neckline into the in between the choker this way and stitch it down. Stitch it all the way down. So don't forget to close up the edge of the choker before you attach it, like turn it to the wrong side, stitch it down, and then flip it over to the right side, then stitch it down to this point. So when I'm done doing that, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So after inserting the choker, this is what it looks like. So like I said, I closed up and turned over before I attached my choker to give it a neat finishing at the edge. So I also fixed in a loop on one side so that when I stitch my button at the back, I'll be able to close it up this way. So this is what the back is going to look like when you wear it. So this is where I'll be ending this video for today, guys. I hope you find it useful. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, share with your loved ones, and I'll see you guys in my